Okay, guys, we are live. So for those listening at home, welcome to the Dungeon Musings YouTube channel. My name is Kevin Madison, and I'll be your friendly referee today because today we are carrying on with our ongoing campaign, playing Mongoose Publishing's outstanding science fiction role-playing game, Traveler, 2nd edition. And with me today are the stars of our Borderland Run campaign. We are currently in a Pirates of Drinax arc of that campaign. But I'll go the order. I've got you guys on the screen here. Why don't you tell us who you are and who you're playing today? First up, we've got James.
I'm James. I'm playing Captain Gunny, part owner of the Rift Wanderer and Tinkerer in the engine room.
Nice. Yeah, I'm a proud graduate of the University of Space Phoenix. Next up is David.
Hi everyone, I'm David. I'm playing Dr. Ilyas Abdel, physician who is looking forward to more royal engagements.
Very true. Next up is Jeffrey.
Hey everybody, I'm Jeff, and I'm playing Alonzo. He is a author and a journalist and an adventure seeker.
Nice. Also secret psychic, but that's a secret. Did I say there was a secret?
Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah.
It's all right.
The worst psychic in the galaxy, maybe.
And last, but certainly not least, is Graham.
Hi, I'm Graham, and I'm playing Laris Zafu, who is a Darien, and he is an intelligence analyst, and he's a recent addition to the crew, and I see him as something of a negotiator.
Perfect. So guys, this is part 7 of our Pirates of Drinax arc of the campaign. What happened last time, guys? Let me bring you on over to, I think, where are we?
This is where I'm going to reconnect. That's not because I don't know what happened last time, but it's because I can't remember what happened last time. Oh, right, I can see Jeff now. Very good. Hi, Jeff.
Hey.
Where on... Oh, here we go. I think I'm bringing you guys... Oh, I think I'm bringing you guys here. Party here. Boom. There we are.
Yeah, because most of the stuff I think was happening on the ship. Everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we established contact and the sort of negotiating way into the royal courts. So we are going to be imminently, I think, meeting with the royals of Drinax.
Princess Rao?
To support our Solomon Chase and his quest to recover an abducted, interesting question, psionic, who is somewhere on Drinax and has been shepherded and controlled by, we think, possibly, we don't know if there's Zodani, or do we know there's Zodani?
I think it is strong. It's either strongly suspected or...
Yeah, implied.
We've all been talking as if it is them and planning for the potential for Zodani psionic abilities, which greatly...
And I think... exactly, and I think for us, the angle was, did you know that you've got sort of rogue sort of Zodani agents operating without license on Drinax? And if you don't, then you probably should. And that seems to have, apart from previous crew entanglements with the royal family, which has helped them, it's certainly piqued their interest sufficient for us to get an audience and get a discussion as to what's going on. And essentially, most of the session was establishing our approach to that connection. And hopefully this session, we're going to be enacting that. During the downtime, we also obviously, Mother Candle, Hollybow, whatever her name is, Mother Candle, who is our sort of, pushy passenger who sees an angle for herself and her
She
business.
would prefer to phrase it as a path to enlightenment.
Indeed, yeah. So an angle for
The
her
path
business and probably for
sometimes
her
has
personal-
angles. That is correct.
Yeah, yeah. And
Laris,
enlightenment's-
you are an exceptionally insightful individual, and it is truly a credit to your species.
Yeah, and I'm easily up and easily manipulated, as has been established at least 2 sessions ago. So,
In fairness, everybody kind of
that.
has a weakness to roofies, so
It all went very well, I think. And there was some downtime, and I think from Laris's point of view, I remember that my downtime was involved in, seeking out culture and art on Drinax. And that took a little bit of time, hence Librarian Raab, and opening up a whole series of information about the past of Drinax and the way that art has developed and established culturally through the Drinax history. And I was in some discussion with Raab about probably developing some, maybe even academic papers on the comparisons of how art has developed on Drinax compared with how art has also developed on Darien.
I think as well the broader Sindalan Empire.
Sindal, yes, indeed.
Right, 'cause,
Sorry, my apologies. Yes.
Yeah, like if you think of it's the Erebor and Arthedain kind of situation.
Yeah.
Where the Drinax is a successor kingdom, the other is the much larger previous, glory kingdom. But I think on Wednesdays we would call that pulling an Andrew, where you say I don't really remember much from last session, and then accurately describe everything that has happened in it. So well done. Jeff, James, anything that Graham missed? I can't think of anything, but
No, I didn't think so.
Did you mention that we were kind of surprised that King Oleb agreed to meet with Mother Candle? Didn't that happen right at the end?
Oh, I
we
don't
sent
think
you a
anyone was
message.
too... Yeah, no, we weren't too surprised about that.
Oh, okay. I was.
Okay.
that's right. You didn't have to spend the days with her. That I think you because last session, I think your first session back from the summer break, and the her discussion with, or there was discussion with what the king is likely, or the court at least is likely to do with her the session before that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that may be why the expectation was there. James, anything?
Nope.
Nope. Okay, then, guys. Dr. Ilias, you would have had a few hours. Oh, we did learn as well of a colleague of Alonso's, former travel companion, a captain named Lima Sue, who apparently has a bit of a interest in cuisine, and she also becomes not only transports goods and whatnot and passengers as usual. She also kind of takes pride in hosting dinner parties with folks, and she seems to have, in the course of that, she ends up meeting some very interesting and unusual people in the Reach. But I think you sent a message to try and talk to her, right? You were gonna.
I did send her a message. Yeah. I think she invited me to dinner.
Yeah, oh, right, yeah, because it was after you were trying to make it work around the royal appointment.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, Dr. Ilias, you would have had a few hours to kill in the floating city, or the floating palace of King Oleb. Is there anything that Dr. Ilias had on his to-do list for when he reaches Drinax?
Nothing on the to-do list as such, but he'll probably be interested in, I believe there's an academy or university here.
Yep, there's the Scholar's Tower.
So if there's any interesting seminars or talks going on or anything of that nature.
Okay. So, Dr. Ilias, once again, you maybe joined Laris there because you had been there last time you were on the floating palace. So perhaps you brought Laris there. He went off with Brother Rab, and you went off to go and you know, is it Proctor? Proctor when you're sitting in the things? When you're sitting in lectures, is that proctoring? No. What is it? It's when you audit.
Audit, yeah.
Yeah, the lectures. Proctor is when you're giving an exam, I think. So, all right. Then, Dr. Ilias, any ideas of anything that would be of interest to you? Or one thing I will mention is that Laris was particularly, his interest in Sindalan art as it compares to the Darien art has a slightly self-interested skew to it, in that he is trying to learn more about where that key may be connected to. And where is the... Did I label it something stupid? No, I didn't. Here we go.
Oh, there it is.
I was saying I resisted making a toothbrush joke again, but I thought I may have labeled the handout, you know, definitely not a toothbrush. Yeah. That's my subversive, not a joke. All right. Then it brings us to the time for the appointment. So let's talk about what you guys are going to be wearing, what you guys are going to be, how you plan on approaching this. You are bringing Mother Candle, and her accompanying Burris seems to have been fully indoctrinated into the light of the Candle of Hope Ministries at this point. He is not yet wearing the accoutrement of one of them, but he does have some little, you know, candle like pin or something like that is affixed to his lapel. He is wearing his dress blues, or whatever the color of his uniform is, because you may recall he's a serving soldier. What are the rest of you guys doing?
I think I'd established I was going to be wearing a nice sort of golden number, sort of long, sort of shin length single outer garment, which had a shimmering golden quality to it. Otherwise fairly plain, just sort of, and I'll make sure I'm turned out well in terms of, I don't know, have a shave, wash my hair, you know, all that sort of stuff.
Nice. I think, Dr. Ilias, we established that you have a quasi pharaonic kind of, pharaonic by way of 19th century England.
Yeah, but I think he'll wear something else. So it'll be similar style, possibly nice, but no doubt Princess Rao will remember, and it'll play into her games or something. So he'll make sure to wear something different.
Nice.
In case she takes offense with, how dare you wear the same thing to me.
Is there any subtle message he's trying to send with his sartorial choices?
If he were a spy, no doubt, yes. But seeing as we have established, he's not a spy.
That is definitely not.
Are you wearing a tuxedo? Are you wearing a tuxedo with a bow tie and, you know, slight bulge in your left pocket?
Yeah. The monocle.
Yeah.
And Alonso and Captain Gani, what are you guys wearing?
I wear my scout service uniform.
Okay. And Alonso?
Well, Alonso is taking a shower for this event.
Good.
But he's probably gonna
clear the whiteboard of the marks now. That's good.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna put 20 credits onto our account for all the extra heat and water.
Yeah, he's got the squeegee in there trying to clean himself off. But he's definitely gonna wear like his actual cloth armor and stuff, because he just feels like he's about to get into trouble. So he's going to be very cautious.
Okay. So the cloth armor is, I can't remember what the legal level is on Drinax. I think it's quite high, isn't it?
Oh, like you can't wear it? It's like too...
Yeah, like certain things are restricted. Because cloth armor isn't like, a suit that doesn't that stops bullets. Cloth armor actually
there's the
looks
expensive stuff, isn't there? There's the expensive stuff, which is more
It's more clothes-like.
clothes-like. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that what you guys have?
Yeah.
I mean,
Tech 12 or something, whatever it is, Tech 10.
Cloth armor. That's that.
Okay.
Yeah,
that is
it's
it.
weird because if you the text though is contradictory.
Oh, is it?
Right.
Are you saying an RPG has something wrong for their pictures? I find that
In multiple,
Very hard to
editions,
believe.
the update continues.
What about in the central supply catalog? Do they correct it in that?
No, it's still, but it could be my bad memory. But I think if you read
Okay.
the text to it, the description of it, it says that it can be worn under ordinary clothing.
yeah, because I
Alonso,
wouldn't
can I-
imagine
Alonso.
that along. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying.
The
Alonso.
tech level 10 cloth armor can be indistinguishable from ordinary clothing under normal circumstances.
Yeah,
But you'll be fine,
Tech 8 or
Alonso.
something. I'm 10.
I see you in a more flowing garb. You really don't need to worry.
What about a skin suit? Want to show up in a
I've
Wet-
never seen you in a skin suit, Alonso.
space
can I just
wetsuit?
can I just reassure you?
No, I mean normally, yeah, he's just concerned. Every time he gets off the ship, he's in trouble. Okay, fine. He'll put on his. He comes out wearing it, and then you guys are suggesting, "Whoa, that's a little over the top."
yeah.
It still won't protect you from rolling double ones as soon as you shoot.
Yeah. So he'll put on his sort of normal outfit, an unbuttoned dress shirt sort of thing, and his leather coat.
It won't protect you from Princess Rao's mind anyways.
No, it will not.
Okay.
Honestly, I'm sure you're all exaggerating. I'm sure she's absolutely lovely.
It's not her that I'm worried about.
Oh, what are you worried about, Alonso?
Trouble. Everywhere I go.
What sort of trouble?
Well,
If you guys
It was the
break into a song
kidnapping.
here, this is going to be.
yeah.
Fernie Ingolf will be very pleased because he's a big musical fan.
In fact, there's been multiple kidnappings.
Oh.
Yes. I was kidnapped once. A young woman was kidnapped that we had to rescue.
So, should I assume that you're all just extremely careless?
I
mean-
don't know if I'd say careless.
Both those things can be true.
Unlucky, I would say.
Oh, very good. All right then.
We'll try
Okay.
to be careful.
Then, at the appointed hour, you meet Mother Candle in the cargo area. She is well and truly a piece of work in every sense of that phrase, and is ready to accompany you to the palace. You make your way through. The procession to get there is, because of how cramped things are on the palace, you're constantly kind of doing that, like making your way through a mall at a relatively busy time, kind of thing where you're bumping around people and whatnot. So it's not like there's like big open thoroughfares you can make your way through. There's just constantly, bumping into folk who are either admiring things or on their way to other things. And again, surrounded by, this is a place unlike anywhere else in the Traveler universe, with so many riches of, it's such a tight, confined place. So this is the, like, bumping your way past someone while, like, Michelangelo's David or, the Mona Lisa or whatever, a slate of terracotta warriors are being passed as you're going through. So the bustling market around a place of countless treasures, priceless treasures, is a bit of a contrast, as is the folk who are dressed like you, who are likely on their way to meet with someone, and others who are just on their way to Rakondo's Bazaar to conduct in whatever nefarious deals they may have on the go. Since he is concerned about it, I think we should put Jeff's mind at ease with a roll of a d6 from him.
Ah, yes. That always puts me at ease with roll 20.
Yep.
And that's not a luck roll, is it? That's something else.
Oh, we need to make the luck roll. Yeah.
Oh yeah, we forgot our luck roll.
Yeah. Yeah, that might be helpful. I mean, I'm sure you guys won't need it. Why doesn't everyone give us a d6 roll? Let's see how much luck you're playing with today. Okay. Nice. Ooh. 9. There you go. All right, so it's 17? 6, 10, 12. Oh, I'm adding in Jeff's encounter roll. Okay.
Yeah, the 5 is the encounter roll.
Okay. So 12 luck for the day. A little less than average. I'm sure it'll be fine. When you arrive at the palace itself, you once again are met by some kind of, Drinaxi Chamberlain who has a, the unique kind of accented. Is it Galangalic? Am I already fucking this up?
Yeah.
It is Galangalic.
No, that's
Okay.
fine.
I was trying to remember. It's because High Gothic in 40K. There is a distinctly, unique accent to it that you can probably picture as very like, Hollywood movie posh British accent crossed with a little hint of kind of Eastern European. And you are brought into a waiting chamber. And then after a brief period of time where you were all sitting around admiring the priceless things on the wall, Laris, if this is your first time on the floating palace of King Oleb, you may draw the parallel a couple weeks back when you were on that Nouveau Riche Aslan's ship, and he had the kind of like bought legacy stuff on the wall. And you were thinking at the time that, like, oh, this is just, it's tacky. This is buying kitsch, like the noble equivalent of kitsch and putting on the wall. The stuff that's here is priceless. The things that are partly obscured by a bush, you kind of bring that aside and realize it's like the cultural manifestation of an entire planet's artistic expression, and it's stuffed in a corner behind a poorly maintained plant. After about a 20-minute wait, Mother Candle, I will spare you the role-playing of it, but is talking a lot. She is very excited about this, and it seems to be getting the better of her because she's sort of entering seemingly a bit of a manic phase of talking about, what the opportunities and what she can do, almost as if she's like rehearsing what the pitch is going to be for the king. If you guys do try and engage with her whatsoever, she doesn't really. She is artful enough in the skill of conversation to quickly bring it back to whatever the fuck she wants to talk about anyway. So you may mention something and she just brings it back to being once again about her and once again about whatever. And then after about 20 minutes, the Chamberlain comes in and he asks, he indicates that the court will see them separately. And he gestures for Mother Candle and Burris to escort them. They are escorted out. And I believe, guys, at least for the purpose of today's session, you will not see them again. The Star Royalty is if among their, I guess, very other skills, making someone wait until they eventually give up is a old trick of nobility.
So Captain Ghani will then hand his mag rail rifle and 6 magazines to the major domo and say, I won't be needing this today.
It is about another maybe 20 minutes or 25 minutes before the Chamberlain comes in and escorts you into that same darkened hall that you guys were in before. Allow me to... Where did our glorious king go? He was here a moment ago, guys. Where did he go? He's always in the last place you look at, I swear. Oh, he's hiding behind here. Look at that, guys. The art is role-playing for us today. Well, 20's bringing its A game. Look at this. Boom!
Oh, he was just behind the ship.
He was hiding. He was hiding behind. So you're brought in, and of course there is the Star Throne forged from the hulls of the foes of the Sindalan Empire. But once again, you find yourself not meeting with King Oleb. And it's Princess Rao who meets with you. And lest that she offer any disappointment to you, Dr. Elias, she appears to be wearing something that it looks as if it was almost like, not, if you could picture a plant that is similar to kelp, where it kind of grows up in or hangs in a certain direction, is held aloft, only it's the kind of thing that would come from a gas giant, or where life might grow in spores or things like that. It is a predominantly lavender with accents of gold, of these individual strips that seem to be hanging down, but somehow held together, no doubt through some kind of unreasonably expensive technology, to give the form of a garment in this. But as she moves, it moves as if being held aloft in it, and it almost seems to give off a not sparkles, but almost like motes of dust or spores, as if she was like leaving a trail of cloud or mist behind her. She ascends the throne, or ascends the steps up to the throne, and as you walk in, she has that same inscrutable kind of smile on her face, as if she is laughing at a joke that only she knows. And when you are in position, do you guys bow? Do you take the knee? Do you what?
Yeah, probably bow. Alonzo will give a bow.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
Elias will do whatever the proper formal approach on Drinax is, which you would probably have talked. I think we were here before, so
yeah.
I think last time
you
we
reach a
into
point.
how.
I'm picturing it kind of like the, and forgive the, I only know this name for it, the kowtow. I'm sure there's an appropriate name for it that I don't know, but where you're going up and prostrating yourself and then getting up and moving closer. So, James, you know that actually, because you know a fair bit about Chinese history. What's the proper name? What's the proper name for kowtow? Or is there one?
That is an anglicization of it.
Oh, okay. Then you guys make your way up, and when you kneel, she says, "Please rise. While there is a stranger among you, you are no strangers to this court. I see you are missing a member of your crew. Lost to lions, I hear. Who is this new face who would meet with the Dragon Emperor?"
And I will step forward and speak for myself, I think, rather than embarrassing everyone. So I'll just say, my name is Laris Sathu. I am a Darien, and I'm a new member of the crew, and I'm very honored to be in your presence. And I'll bow slightly and step back.
The court of the Dragon Emperor of Sindal in exile welcomes you. How do you find yourself, a Darien, to be not only so far from home, but among this crew now? The court is curious.
I am well-traveled for my kind and far from home. You are quite right, Your Highness. I find most recently a great... I am an analyst and an academic at heart, perhaps, and I have a great interest in the past of the Sindalan Empire and also its present and hoped-for resurgence. And I'm here to study and to learn and to support.
She fixes eyes on him, and you can see she is obviously letting you know that she is weighing, because there's a silence that hangs in here, apart from perhaps the almost imperceptible hum of grav belts as there are no doubt wingmen hidden somewhere in the alcoves, perhaps at least one monarch as well.
Mm-hmm.
She then nods slowly. However you find yourself here, you are welcome. We also appreciate the advice concerning your passenger. She is not the first to think herself capable of manipulating a king, an emperor, as grand as my father. And we will see that she is given the appropriate greetings so that she may not make that error in judgment again. I trust that she has paid for her passage.
She has.
Indeed, as have we.
Then she has been discharged from your care. Has she any luggage or other belongings on your ship still?
She has.
Then, subject to your approval, we will happily take that into custody.
You're most welcome.
Your message spoke of another concern, though. Something more worthy of my grand and glorious father's attention. What is that? There is no wind in here, but you can see that the dress still seems to move on its own accord.
We are here to aid a friend of ours, as I motioned towards Solomon. We have reason to believe that the situation he finds himself in involves foreign spies, agents potentially active or about to be active here on Drinax.
Espionage in the floating palace. I am shocked, Dr. Ilias. Tell me more.
I will give her a similar like a doctor's report where sort of Cliff's notes the relevant details.
So is there anything that you are leaving out specifically? Because one of the key elements is that Alonso is also psychic and that Solomon is also psychic. So I'm curious what you're specifically putting before her.
I think unless they interject or would have given previous permission, he will not mention that they're psychic.
Okay, so let's role play through it.
Yeah,
what do you say? She has also assumed that you, bringing up espionage, are practiced in that craft.
Mr. Chase here is looking for a kidnapped girl that was taken from her family by what we believe, although I have no firm proof as of yet, are Soldani agents, potentially nefarious designs on this young girl who is gifted with rare talents. And Mr. Chase here believes that a handover is set to take place here on Drinax. Two of these agents will hand her over or board a ship to parts unknown. But we would very much like to free the young girl from her entrapment before she disappears forever.
What is the Zordani, from my readings, have no shortage of psychics among their number. Their breed is gifted in those arts. What need would they have for kidnapping an individual girl?
We do not entirely know that we have heard rumors of others having been taken in the past. We're led to believe that this one is particularly gifted, even by Zoldani standards, perchance.
I see. Mr. Chase looks over at her, and suddenly the filter goes black and white for some reason. He kind of stumbles forward. You know, his hat is off, but he's kind of holding it in his hand. What is your interest in this girl? And he kind of looks at you guys and says, well, I'm similarly gifted, Your Highness. And there's a connection between psychics that you can't explain to... We have a way of connecting that those who don't have it can't do. And I know she's been scared. I've been close enough to this to know. If you ask these people, they'll tell you that they're doing it for her own good, and that they might have used their abilities to make her think that's the case. But that's doubly harming her. She's been taken from a family that knew who she was, what she was, and supported her. And it doesn't mean that she doesn't get to live in a fancy place just because she's psychic, and she doesn't get to lord over others. But my interest is, if I was the one in her place, I would want someone like me to stop it. And he looks over at you guys to see if there's... And he steps back. And Princess Rao, I see. And what interest, Captain and Doctor, do you have in this? When we last met, you expressed that trade and transportation of passengers was your stock and trade. Now you find yourself involving yourselves in the affairs of your passengers, standing against a foreign nation of espionage. One would almost think that you may have been less than truthful to this court in relation to your interests as against the Zodani.
Laris can't help but smile as he turns and looks at Dr. Elias.
I think it's
Majesty,
a bit of a habit.
Yes, we tend to get ourselves involved inadvertently with doomed causes and righting wrongs, which is rather a strange position, I admit. I can understand your perception here.
And
All I
Laris's
can say is
internal
we're open about it.
Laris's internal thoughts, but not expressed, is not that we're thinking that Drinax is a doomed cause, of course. You know, we're certainly not thinking that by any stretch of the imagination. But he doesn't say
The
out loud.
rescuing of
Captain, you were saying the rescuing of?
well, this mission of our passenger, it seems like a worthwhile cause. So unfortunately, we look to support. And we don't like to pass by and merely look the other way.
Then Mr. Chase and Mr. Zathu. Mr. Chase, you find yourself in a fortunate position. while they have not yet been of service to this court, a friend of this court speaks very highly of this crew and have provided discreet and effective assistance on another oddly similar circumstance. Mr. Zathu, I would not extend the same assessment of your good fortune, though it appears if you have joined this crew willingly, you likely have done so because your values likewise align.
Yes, and to endorse the words of Captain Gani, we have a sense of natural justice. And
Indeed.
so the case here seemed clear. And we thought that we should intervene to support Solomon in this case.
Please excuse my father's hounds. It seems he may have brought treats to them. Then, so Donnie spies with the kidnapped girl. What had you intended on doing, Mr. Chase, had this friendly crew not intervened on your behalf? And he kind of, this is where he seems less awed by the royal presence and seems a little more steeled. And you can see that by the setting of the jaw, well, I would have got her back. Princess Rao does not seem impressed by she said, does not say it, but the look on her face is like, if saying things made them happen, you know, we would all be kings. So,
Yeah.
I have no doubt of your honest intent, Mr. Chase. Captain and Doctor, why would you bring this to my attention? Forgive me, to the court's attention. She wouldn't make that slip up. She's got way more years of practice at this than I do. Do you seek assistance?
Two reasons. One, of course, to make you aware of these potential goings-on that might affect the citizens of Drinax. And
She arcs her eyebrow. Because I am so fond of you, Doctor, I will not, on behalf of my father, we will not take offense to you assuming that he does not know everything that occurs within the floating palace.
forgive me, of course.
Not at all. Your second reason.
And secondly, as you have just ably demonstrated, our skills are not always at the right level, and we were hoping to potentially call upon assistance in dealing with this matter, or seek your permission to deal with it. It would turn violent.
And how would you propose to deal with it? Would, though it was left to your hand, you could understand why the Dragon Emperor may wish to keep his hands free from any overt acts against a polity as powerful as the Zodani.
We would potentially need some minor assistance in gaining access to where the ship they are going to take her on is docked, possibly posing as staff to have a chance of ambushing and rescuing her.
I can't remember. Did you guys mention the name of the Banam? the ship that you expected them to be meeting up with. I don't think you put it in the message. Like, you knew the name. Solomon knew the name of the ship that they were meeting up with at Drinax. Is a ship called the Banam, but I don't remember if...
No, we didn't put it in there.
Okay.
I think, yeah, no, I don't think we did.
Iliasma would have mentioned it during its briefing. If we know the name of the ship, then there's no reason to keep that hidden.
She looks down at one of the many bangles on her wrist and kind of touches 2 parts on it, and then looks back up at you. So you seek only access. And
the other hope we had is that given how technologically advanced Drinax is, it might have technology that could support us in facing those with such powerful gifts. I have heard quite the horror stories of what they might be able to do with their minds.
you wish for not only this court to allow you to access fellow travelers who may be involved in espionage. We also wish to arm you in your efforts.
On defences rather than weapons, Your Highness.
We were
We
hoping
would
that
much
from those
prefer there
bizarre...
to be no bloodshed or harm come to anyone.
And the girl, if your plan is to engage in a violent seizure of her, surely that is a risk to her.
We would prefer a non-violent way, but...
And
These
what,
And we
things
have
can
no weapons,
escalate.
indeed.
what would that path appear to be?
Well, if it was up to me, I would possibly hope for an airlock and enough sleeping gas to knock them all out. That sort of approach. I've not faced people with their abilities before. Well, that would possibly be the most non-violent. I don't think we can convince them to hand her over.
To ensure that our kings, the Emperor and the King of Drinax, was absolved from any involvement in such obvious espionage, a show would have to be made to demonstrate that such sabotage would not come from his royal personage, but instead was the act of some independent operators. You see Solomon's kind of looking at you guys like trying to make sense of what she's saying. He says, "You mean a fall guy?" And she looks so pleased, like she didn't expect that from Solomon. Like, oh, you do get what's going on here. Indeed, Mr. Chase.
His candle, even.
Yes.
They kind of stop and all look at each other like... Solomon's like... Because he was about to volunteer himself. And Princess Rao says, now that is an intriguing potential, Captain. This individual who she travels with, we reviewed his travel history with his arrival. He seems only to have joined her on your vessel, and he serves is an active member of a military elsewhere, it would not be a credible threat, and perhaps in the end we may not find convictions, or our king could show mercy on an individual who has been duped by a confidence artist. What connection is there between this Mr. Ogilvy and Mother Kendall? And the way she says mother, it is like spinning venom out. Know you of any previous connection? Is he part of her association? Or is he simply the latest in a line of dupes?
I would suggest that we don't entirely know this. What we do know is that, though we can't speak for the depth of their relationship, they have one nevertheless.
Understood. Then, you have done a favor for this court by bringing to our attention not only the intentions of Mother Kendall, and while we obviously were aware of the presence of such individuals on the floating palace, your intention to be certain that we are aware of Zodani presence is recognized and appreciated. I will consult with his august personage, my father, King Oleb, and we will send word. You may safely transmit to the palace on the same channel you used any information you have on these individuals. Chase steps forward. He's like, I've got surveillance. And it's just precisely that and anything more you have. And we will advise once King Oleb has turned his mind to this request.
We are most grateful.
As is this court, for your continued friendship. I will ask because my father will ask. Your new turret, how has it served you?
Out of character, we have not had a chance to use it yet, have we?
Nah, you haven't fired yet. Everything you encountered has either been friendly, or you've outmaneuvered it, or it was far too big to engage.
We have been lucky in our travels in that we have not had reason to make use of it so far.
No doubt the legendary craftsmanship of the Drinaxi shipwrights would deter all but the most foolish of attackers.
Quite so.
Then, is there any other business that you have before this court?
No, we are grateful for the time you have already shown to us.
Then, please depart with the gratitude of the Dragon Emperor. She nods, and you can see, seemingly again out of the shadows, there's one of the wingmen come. Last time you were here, that was the like, okay, time to leave kind of signal.
Yeah,
So with that, you guys leave. Princess Rao remains at the top of the stairs, watching. It's unclear whether King Oleb is indeed here or not. Would you give... someone could give us a recon check if he did want to kind of like... You know where he dropped down from before. I'm not sure if anybody wants to give us a roll, or
No, she would notice us looking to the rafters, and that would just be unseemly.
Good call.
Totally.
All right. Then, with that, you guys do the reverse kowtow and make your way out the door. And you are once again back in the hustle and bustle of the floating city. Why don't we take our mid-session break now, a couple minutes early, refresh our beverages, and then we'll see what you guys are choosing to do next. So for those listening at home, we'll be back in about 5 minutes.
What is it, Biddy? Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay. Failed my animal handling to get Anna back inside. There's a it's actually pretty nice here today. So the pup, there's another person walking their pup outside, and Anna wanted to make sure they were leaving before coming inside. All right. So then, as you guys are heading back to the Graham, just remember to mute yourself in roll 20 if you hit refresh.
Sure. And I'm having to refresh because for me, Windows 11 and Firefox, everyone's camera keeps dropping out. I know I'm visible, but I can't see people. So
I've been seeing
Windows 11.
Windows 10.
No, mine goes up to 11, mate. Mine goes up to 11.
Rookie mistake.
So what Solomon is walking along, and I think absent Anchor, because I think he was the one who made the first contact with, like, kind of, you know, he probably turns to you, Alonzo, because you're a fellow psychic, and he says that seemed to go well.
I think so. Fine. I mean, I managed not to say anything. That's usually good.
He looks over. Have you... It's not my business, but have you dealt with her before?
We've had the pleasure of an audience before, yes.
the way she acted, it seemed like you must know each other. It's none of my business. What do we do now?
We wait for His August Majesty to consider our case, and hopefully we will hear back. While we potentially should come up with a plan of some kind to how do we want to approach the rescue, especially if we are considering non-lethal means as a first option.
Does this is Kev talking, not Solomon. Does anyone have? I feel like from the master control room, I'm putting the switch. Guys, this is Kev, not Solomon. What non-lethal weaponry do you guys actually have?
Harsh words.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's this use, man? Harsh language.
Harsh language.
Clever Darien poetry. I don't know if that would do it. No, good point. We're not replete with stunners or anything, are we?
No, you guys are, have a surplus of shit that'll, turn people into mist. But I don't know if we've ever turned our mind to non-lethal means.
Maybe we need to go shopping.
Yeah, maybe we need to shop for something.
Rakondo's Bazaar is open at all hours. And for those with credit, we always welcome you.
Well, that's an interesting question, right? Because my understanding is if we get too close to them, they might become aware of our presence, and it'll be really difficult to surprise them with a shock thing to the neck or something like that. So are there high-powered range sleep rifles?
I'd potentially be hugely surprised by us not turning up with lethal weapon, right?
Well, it would surprise me. I mean, what happened to the shoot them in the face option? Which I understand from your previous histories is something that you are noted for.
We lost the psycho.
Oh, I see. Oh, that might explain it then.
And unless the... I'm just double checking here.
Also, starting a fight here on Drinax would be very bad form, I think. And probably end badly.
It is a very crowded place, yes. So I was thinking if we can somehow ambush them in the docking areas, if there is indeed an airlock type situation which we can flood with sleeping gas or something. I don't know if that would work. I don't know if they might be resistant to that thanks to their gifts, but something that takes them by surprise and doesn't mean any mines are too close to give away the surprise.
Right. Some kind of a trap that could be sprung by them without us being present.
Yes, they can be remote activated.
Yes.
Trank grenades.
Yes, stunners have a notoriously low range. So as you rightly say, Dr. Ilias, it would be a close range option.
And I was just double checking too, psi shielding and like psi commando armor and psi stuff like that, it does protect against telepathy. It does fuck all against teleportation.
Yeah.
Which means that it actually, the psi commando stuff at least, it actually augments the results of teleportation. So it makes it easier and makes it longer distances, which means a civil war in the Zodani consulate would be a real fucking ugly matter, because they would handily be able to use their own, powers offensively quite effectively against their rebels, assuming they were equally armed. But
Heavy laser rifle it is then. What can you say?
I can't remember, was there like a psi chaff grenade? Or am I just making shit up from other
There's a
sci-fi
trank
stuff?
grenade. I'm looking at that.
Yeah.
It's a stun grenade. Yeah, throwing gas.
Knocking them out would seem to be very nice.
Yep.
Because I was looking at nets as well, but that won't stop them using their minds.
I mean, if monofilament net might. But yeah, that would the trank gas grenade, the stun grenade, both would likely be equally effective. I mean, the pocket newt technically would be effective as well, but I'm not sure what that's the state that your hostage is going to be in after that.
So 152 stun weapons.
Last 9 stun. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, and 3d6 stun, and I think if I remember, is stun the where if it you get taken amount equal to your endurance, then you're rendered unconscious.
Mm.
It's only deducted from endurance without taking into account any protection. If you're reduced to 0, they're incapacitated and unable to perform any actions for a number of rounds by which this damage exceeded their endurance. Damage received from stun weapons is completely healed by 1 hour of rest. So, yeah, that's a potential as well. What do you guys think?
Stun carbine sounds like a good idea generally.
Okay. While you're looking that up, I'm going to look at the law level for Drinax.
Yeah, does it include stun grenades?
Yeah.
Or do we get a dispensation?
That's
a license?
A really good question, because you, especially with the burgeoning relationship with the Drinaxi court, they may be willing to overlook that. Okay, here we go. I am looking for this. Go.
Yeah, if they're quite well armored, then the stun grenades will have a lesser effect.
Mm.
I think one upside you've got there, though, is the same laws that if they're trying to remain incognito, they are likely to be traveling the same circumstances, and I would probably rule if there's exposed areas, you're going to get, exposed to the stun grenade regardless. Although I guess, as you said, there's also concealed armor that could be effective. So
Yeah. It does accumulate, so if they're continually stunned, then eventually they'll go down.
just bring an entire bag full of stun grenade. 1, 2.
Yeah.
Here we go. Nope. It was in Liawaha, wasn't it? Where Drinax was located? Yeah. Okay. Okay. All right. Drinax's law level is A. So 10. Which means all weapons, all armor are forbidden. And because of the small spaceport, I mean, you could still purchase stuff here. It's just that technically all that stuff is illegal. So there's the question of either smuggling it in or making a request of the court to be permitted to act as extrajudicial agents. Kev, are you making an excuse to use the phrase extrajudicial agents to make it sound cooler? Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, my suggestion is we should maybe ask if that would be possible, but otherwise I would suggest that we get a stun blaster or two for the ship. It might be useful to have in storage in the locker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even for
So
I know you,
13,
what does the stun blaster do for damage?
4D. But you can also set it to blast, in which case it has the blast effect for 3D.
Pretty cool, especially if you are facing pirates.
Yep.
In future.
A bit of non-lethal. That sounds good. If we maybe get 2 or 3 of those.
Oh, so one awesome rule I forgot out of the field catalog. Field catalog introduces recoil, but more importantly, it introduces quick draw. So quick draw stats. So there's like as written, there really isn't a reason to not use a rifle as opposed to using a pistol. But what it introduces is the idea that like there's a reason you'd use a pistol because it's faster to get out and make use of. So I think in future I would like to make use of those things just because it adds mechanical justification for some of the things. So you're not always toting around a blast pistol, but that's where a carbine might be more effective or at least faster on the draw. That would be the only reason to get a carbine instead of getting a rifle. Not to say one is better than the other, but just that's I think a neat bit of rules that was introduced in field catalog. I didn't understand because it was released with that mercenary book. It's got the like the little symbol here is the like core book symbol. You may not know that I only learned that this last fucking weekend. The field manual shares that. It's one of them, so it's considered a core book, but it's just it was happened to be released as a part of the bundle with the mercenary box set. So, anyway, for those listening at home, if you happen to overlook that that supplement like I did for at least 2 years now, it's it's a really, really cool book. It is sucker here at Field Catalog. Now they also have one that is Support Forces that is also considered core. I think that is a lot less core. Unless you're running a mercenary campaign, it's not really. Although it does have like typical outfits and typical missions and typical kind of kits for different types of special operation military and espionage folks. So there is some, I think, a lot of useful stuff in that too. Also released with the mercenary book. Anyway, sorry guys, I got just down a bookshelf rabbit hole there. What are you guys thinking? Rifle, pistol, carbine, all? You guys are flush with cash from having sold, some radioactive elements recently. So,
well, you could get a couple of blasters, a couple of carbines, and
some grenades for good measure.
So that'd be 10k for 2 of each.
Okay.
And then I don't know.
So Stun Blaster is TL13. Let me double check the.
Yep. So we're good for. That's why it's quite good to get it here.
I'm just trying to remember what the tech level is here. Oh, it's
15,
E.
I think.
Yeah. So you're good. No mazer rifles, but E is 15, isn't it?
15. Yeah. And that would be 2,400.
Okay. All right. That's on page 153 of the update Central Supply catalog, by the by.
It's 10.
So I suggest we get two of each. 2 stun blasters, 2 stun carbines. So that'd be 12,800 with 2 magazines each for each of them. Does that sound good, or
Yeah.
put them in the ship's lockup?
I think E's 14 actually, because A is 10, isn't it?
Yeah. So,
I thought Drinax. Oh, okay. I thought
I mean,
Drinax
it's
was
13
whatever.
anyway, so it still is sufficient to
Still
go pick
within.
this up. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get 4 magazines for the
Okay.
carbines.
I was doing the same thing too, Grim. I started to count up, and I'm like, I don't really fucking care.
Yeah, I know. So I was doing the finger thing, but whatever.
If it looked like I was having a stroke, that was because I was trying to count up while using numbers, so that is why. All right.
Hexadecimal. It's so obvious. So, what's the total cost? I can put it in the account.
13,200, please.
Thank you.
And that is 2 stun blasters with 2 magazines each, and 2 stun carbines with 4 magazines each.
The stun grenades are on page 157, and they are 50 credits each. Sorry, 30. 3 sir. 3.
Would we like trank ones instead?
Or you do trank ones, which are 75 each.
Have 10 trank ones for 750?
Okay.
Yeah.
Because we want these guys out cold, not
So 10 trunks,
750.
grenades, 750. Thank you. Done.
Anything else? Recondo's
Just throwing
bizarre.
around trank gas grenades. Should we invest in some gas masks?
That's a good idea. I can hear Dane Loverick shuddering as he somewhere across the galaxy.
Yeah.
So gas masks, where are they?
I was going to say, and are we wanting? Are we seriously wanting some sort of psionic shielding?
I mean, if that is such a thing, that does sound pretty nice.
It's a thing. It has limitations as described, but it will stop people getting into your mind.
Life support mask is on page 99 of the Central Supply catalog,
Thank you.
under the survival gear. Okay. And the psi shielding, that the psi mask, I thought that was under the armor thing. Let's see. Because you could get that as well. That actually might be in the core book, in addition to the Central Supply catalog. Ooh, gecko pads. Guys, you need some gecko pads?
I don't see Alonzo climbing around.
Does adding in a climbing up the wall before implementing a plan ever go wrong? Come on. That may be too many hours of Marvel Rivals speaking there, so. Let's see. Ultima 1 also is a resource you can draw on here too, because he has that chameleon mask type thing on him, and they won't be able to read his mind.
Oh, interesting. Very interesting.
He'll happily go along with whatever plan you guys have to help Solomon save this and save this child.
So shall we get 5 of these nose plug breather masks? Or do you want to go with the basic stuff?
How much would they be?
That'd be 10,000 to get 5 of them.
Right.
psionic shield helmet is 4,000. It's on page 25 of the essential supply.
I mean, you've got the money.
It's a shame TL17 stuff isn't available.
What do you think?
Page 24, there's null shield. Complete immunity from psionic powers.
Wow.
Ooh.
But it's 150,000 and it's TL17, so I assume it's like there's one of them in existence somewhere.
That's pretty fucking effective. Wow. So what do you think, guys?
That might come in, like the shielding might come in handy.
Okay. How many do you want?
5 sentience on the crew. Although, if Alonso wears one, you already have a closed mind because you're a telepath. It's a closed door in the sense of, like, you know, someone pushed the door shut on an abandoned, you know, trailer.
Yeah.
So it's fairly easy to get in, but...
So these powerful psychics could probably still get it.
Yeah, so what that would do is it would shut you off. It would also mean that you cannot make use of any of your, you know, ample telepathic gifts as well.
Right, I won't be countering them with my powerful psychic abilities.
Yeah. Charles Xavier's idiot brother.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Greg Xavier. He, yeah. No. So how many of those are you going to get, guys? Ultima 1 does not require a... He has no biological mind to shield, at least not in the sense that you understand it.
Is that 4 then?
Yes. 3.
So not for Alonso?
Yeah, so 4 then.
16,000 then, and then 10,000 for the nose plug.
Okay.
They'll still be useful, the nose plugs, generally.
Well, the psionic shields may be... I mean, there may be... If there are other telepathic things, and if you're pissing off the Zodani and they find out about it, it may be handy to have that stuff around.
We could probably do with like a ship's locker.
Handout?
Nodes.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh,
Let me do that for you.
It's I've got it in the accounts, so they're all in there. But
No log. Yeah, no, that's a good idea because that everyone can just access and see what's in there. All right, let's see here. Ships, locker. All right, all players can access. Now, what picture are we going to use for it? Where is our ship here? This will be an easy one to pick. Or to pick out, I guess. There you go, guys. Ship's locker.
Nice.
Okay. Anything else? You got psionic shields for 4 of you. And just so I'm clear, is it you're buying 4 because Alonso's not going to use one, you've got 1 left over for Anchor? Or are you buying 4 because that's what's here today?
Well, in my mind, it's so that Anchor can also have one in the future.
Okay, and then Alonso, you're not going to use one?
I don't know. Maybe I better get one.
Like, I guess here's the decision, is that a telepath, when you're coming up against a closed mind, what it'll tell you either is that they are telepathic themselves, or they're wearing some kind of blocking device. Or something else might be going on. They may be an android or something like that. So you already have a measure of defenses against to prevent people from getting in. If they're actively trying to get into your mind, then it's going to be the sonic shield would utterly break it, like prevent that from happening. But having just the closed mind, they made us think that you're a mild telepath and that they can't read your mind. You would know if they were trying to get in, though, if they were engaging you in a telepathic struggle.
Oh.
So they may not be inclined to do that.
Okay, that's fair. So it might be worth not wearing one.
Yeah, and if you guys have Solomon would you know what, if you bought 5, if you wish Solomon to be involved here, because his telepathic abilities are currently suppressed by those medications. So that's if you're choosing to involve Solomon in this.
We sort of said we would.
Meow.
Okay. So then, Alonso, that might give you an extra one in the event you want to use one at another time. Maybe?
That's fair, yeah. It would be around if you needed it later.
Okay.
That's 5 sonic shields then.
Okay. Anything else? I guess I can get rid of Burris and Mother Candle for now. They're currently...
Yes, you can rub them out.
Well, in my mind, I was thinking when Rao asked if she paid us, because we said yes, she pushed a button and the trapdoor just opened and Mother Candle is plunging towards Drinax below.
Wow!
Yeah. Like a big tank of sharks or something.
But, honored father, sharks, do we really need to have sharks on the floating palace? Mind you, daughter, they will come in handy. So currently there is a very smug King Oleb who's gloating to his daughter. And what did I say about the sharks? So, apart from those elements, what else would you guys care to do? Or anything else you wish to pick up? Got your breath mask, you got your psi helmet, you got your stunners.
Now, there's not so much in terms of equipment, but now that we're here, can we look up like a ship's registry, see if we can get more information about the bonhomme?
I mean, you would have to be a pretty impressive computer hacker in order to try and gain some further information about that.
Only Yuri was with us.
I mean, Alonso is no slouch in that department, if I recall.
Yeah, he's pretty good.
Oh, I care to do some investigative journalism.
Sure.
See if we can, how many down the crew, and anything we can glean of it.
Sure. So you can give us electronics computers check there, Alonso?
Yep.
At your leisure.
Computers, here we go.
It's first roll of the game, guys.
Wow.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
Nice.
Holy smokes. All right.
He's good at computers.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, so what Alonso uncovers is that you are able to cover, because it is if it is indeed a cover ship, it seems to have traveled we'll talk about more detail when, if you spend time analyzing it. But you've got a comprehensive list of the travels of the bonhomme if you wish to further, explore where it's been. Mostly rimward, though. Or, I'm sorry, coreward. Mostly coreward. So closer to the... What is it? Deneb and Spinward marches. That's what's coreward of the Trojan Reach, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Coreward and slightly trailing.
Okay. Because Deneb is directly coreward, right? And then it's the Spinward marches is trailing.
Directly coreward would that be something like 4 even?
Well, maybe. Look here. Where?
I don't have the map in front of me, but Deneb's a bit further away.
Yeah, I was looking at it because I was trying to see what else would
I think Deneb is Deneb trailing of Spinward marches or something.
Yeah, like I can't. It is to the right of it.
Yeah.
I think Spinbird is on the left, DNM is on the right.
Yeah.
And then I don't remember where Trojan Reach is. Oh, here we go. Sectors and subsectors.
It's like left one and down, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay. Then that is the direction. They seem to have been in that direction, which if you are making a trip to, the borderland between the Empire or the Imperium and the consulate, that would be where you were going.
Right.
So coincidental or circumstantial evidence would suggest that is the case. I think you also have the name of the captain there. Give me a sec here, I'll tell you. You guys feel free to talk while I'm looking this up too, if you want to make plans for what you're intending on doing next.
Yeah, I guess we have to decide where do we think we can ambush them. That's sort of away from a crowd of people and still gives us an element of surprise.
Yeah.
Do you wish to hit them somewhere, knowing how kind of cramped the location is? Are you planning on doing it at the spaceport, or because there isn't? I was thinking about the airlock situation, but because this is open to the sky, there's not really like an easy access to airlock, but there would be like security areas.
Yeah, I think Dr. Elias is thinking somewhere, like the gangway that leads to the Bonhomme, somewhere in that sort of as removed from anywhere where civilians will cluster or might get hurt in the process.
Okay.
To minimize any potential collateral. But of course, we have the risk that, if there are reinforcements on the Bonhomme, they might get involved if we're not quick enough.
The captain of the Bonhomme is a guy named Yali Osmond. Here we go, Captain Yali Osmond.
We would need to establish the operational parameters that we're allowed to proceed on as part of our discussion when we get an update.
There is also that, yes.
We're assuming that we're allowed to act. And depending on what they want us to do more in the future, they may wish to see how we act. So it'll be interesting. I suspect that there's more than one thing at play than just simply this operation.
Okay. Captain Gani, do you have you can think of a skill that would reflect your history in the Navy for like folks who serve within? I'm curious whether you've actually heard of Captain Osmond before.
Let's have a look.
If you have a suggestion for it, otherwise we can just do a like an intelligence check, but or intellect in this game, I guess. Just realize. Spinward marches is coreward of the Reach. I realized I had dragged my box set for Pirates of Drinax out, and it's got the map that comes with it. I don't know if you guys have used these two. The thing I find with these, from where like the material on the maps is great, but the folds, right where the corners are, there tends to develop holes in them. Like I don't know if it's the material doesn't take the folding quite as well, but just right where the points are on them, they seem to develop. Yeah, that's an old RPG problem, I guess, not unique to this. But sorry, James, I talked over you. What were we saying?
No, I don't think there's a particular skill for that.
Sure. So I mean, maybe education is the better
education.
Yeah,
Okay,
one to use because it reflects your sort of breadth of experience and breadth of exposure. Yeah, okay, so you actually, Osmond, is a, so for naval individuals, they seem to, when you get to a certain point, my thought is that you go one of two ways in your career. You're either like promoted along the ranks to get to larger and larger ships as you go, or you find a niche with a level of effectiveness with a certain size vessel. And you know that Osmond was sort of in that thing. He is a very experienced, like mid-sized naval vessel or smaller tactician. This guy has a like 30-year career in the Imperial Navy, but prior to this, and he saw a great deal of small craft combat in the course of his career, to the point where like his name comes up when you talk about like tricks that were pulled or things like that. You know, he's not like a folk hero or anything like that, but just because you roll so well, you're like, shit, like I've heard that name before. And it's been forever because like not only did you leave the Navy to go to the Scout Service, but you've been now, traveling or whatnot. What happens that gets a guy who is too valuable to promote because of the role that he found himself in, is now running a transport ship for the Zardani?
I know, because he would normally be my kind of man. He feels bitter and twisted for lack of promotion.
It could very well be. An alternative, more paranoid, and in keeping with Imperial propaganda, the Zardani may have done something to him.
No.
Oh.
Mm.
But we should try and recover him, one way or the other. Shake their influence or turn him back to the right
Maybe
side.
we can save him, yeah.
Or
He was a good man. We can't let this go on.
so, what's the plan for storming the vessel? It sounds like you're trying to take the psionics or the psionic folks out as they're approaching. Do I have that right? The combo of stunners and tranq grenades.
Seems to be the current thinking, yeah. Because we don't know how or when they will arrive precisely, do we? Like, Pace doesn't know what vessel they're currently traveling on, or
where they're coming from. No, the Banum is here though.
Don't know where they're going.
Yeah,
That might be easier to ambush them where we know. Well, I guess we assume they will walk her to that ship. They might hand her over. But I guess from what Chase has found out, will they be on the ship as well, and all three will leave on? Okay, so yes, so yeah, then I think ambushing him somewhere near the ship, if we can, probably the one where we know they will be at some stage.
Okay. You know from the number of drones that are around here that if you have assistance from the court, then they will likely be able to, assuming that they're not using some kind of disguise technology, they'll be able to be identified and then followed their entire time here. You recall your time in the park, gazing up at the skies while drones buzzed overhead. So, anything else you guys wish to do or talk about? Alonzo, you have a dinner date later today as well.
I do have a dinner date. He's much more concerned with that than this operation. Although he is sitting, wishing Dane was still here for this operation.
Yeah. It'd be less of a non-lethal operation if Dane was here, I feel.
That's fair. This is our better chance of keeping everyone alive. It's improved.
I'm going to reserve comment.
Yeah.
I guess another problem we have is we don't know exactly when they will arrive. So we need to keep an...
Chase,
Or do we?
yeah, Chase did not, Solomon, I should say, did not have that information. He knew that they were meeting up with the Bunum. He knew that they were traveling slower than what your trip would take you, because they're taking a slower vessel, or at least one with a less powerful jump engine. And that means that he's hoping that to beat them here. And the fact that the Bunum is here now does speak to that at the very least, part of his intel is 100% correct.
So the problem we then have is if you're off to a swanky dinner party and we do other things, we don't know when their ship gets here and how quickly they will transfer to the Bonhomme, so we kind of need to keep an eye on people approaching the Bonhomme.
Oh, yeah, you guys could... one of the books that was part of that most recent... I'm telling you, Manna, she's a big fan of it. The robot handbook. The robot handbook was part of that Humble Bundle that came out recently.
Oh, yeah.
And Humble Bundle, that has, I believe, some pretty awesome drones in it. So if you wished to, say, have something that would keep an eye on them, rather than having a person there, you could easily pick up a robot and make use of that. Well, those are military robots. I don't think you guys have any interest in those. Ooh, a Sindalin enforcement robot. I'll make sure I bookmark that.
Yes, please. Yes, that sounds good.
Oh, and there's all the Savvy. There's Brokerbot. You guys remember Brokerbot?
Wow.
It's actually called Brokerbot too. That's not just me giving it a stupid name. It fortunately has a stupid name already. Emergency response robot, secure assist, forensic, the Hive Queen. There's Nursebot, protocol droid, steward. There's a surveillance one. Here we go. Domestic, a courier. So, if you guys wish to do that, you could. Again, assuming you get. Oh, here we go, guys. This is, I think, a droid that Brent has used in like at least 3 different things. That is a reconnaissance droid. A little ball. That is a remotely piloted reconnaissance unit, often called a sphere eye. Half-meter sphere studded with lenses, microphones, and detection devices. It's often operated as a drone, but has limited evasion capabilities. So it would be kind of obvious that it's being surveilled, but with the number of drones that are around, it would likely blend in. We should do that, or you want to try and like install a camera, or install a person, have someone doing physical surveillance? What do you guys think?
Is that? I mean, is Solomon good at that? He's sort of, staking a joint.
He's happy to do
I
so.
mean, someone could support him. Yeah, someone
It's his
could
time to
support him.
shine. You would think that a guy in a fedora and a trench coat would be easy to spot in the floating palace of King Oleb. Seems not.
No.
Fortunately, rule of cool comes into play as far as Solomon Chase is concerned. So, then Solomon Chase is actually a refugee from the Feng Shui RPG. So, anything else you guys wish to do before you hear back from the palace? Because you will be hearing back from the palace.
No prep that I can think of.
Okay.
No. Let's see what they have to say. We can plan from there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then, word comes that you have been offered another audience. This is about a day later. So you've had time to get your gear or get the purchases that you have made thus far, the surveillance that you did with the guy. Oh, do you have any, with a roll that good too, Jeff, if you have any questions about the Banam, I'm happy to answer that too.
Oh.
Because you would have probably been able to do a little bit of like data analysis along with that as well. So for instance, I could tell you that while the Banam does carry cargo regularly, it only takes on passengers rarely.
Did we learn about crew size?
Yes. Give me a sec here.
Sorry.
Yes. Oop, I may have forgot a book. Guys, give me a sec. What?
So, I mean, that's going to be a big indicator of how many people we could be dealing with.
Yeah, because if we ambush them and then suddenly there's like 12 highly trained. Like
Yeah,
Imperial,
exactly.
like, oh shit.
All right, sorry about that. I grabbed my usual stack, but because I've been working on something else, I had one stack in one place and not our usual stack of books I bring in for this. All right, so the crew you can expect is 5 individuals, because it is a Volatant Far Trader, which looks like this.
Oh, cool. Ooh. Nice.
Yeah. From the adventure class ships thing. Something they also included in that bundle.
Which I may possibly have hypothetically purchased.
Okay. So the what you know about the Volatant class, superficially very similar to other far traders that conform to the Type A2 specification, the Volatant class of ships is visually distinct, capable of far better atmospheric performance than other trader ships. The Volatant is sold as the definitive answer to storm-swept planetary starports. Although if the suggestion was made that the vessel's looks and exterior lines were a selling point, it might be hard for some owners to argue. So it looks fucking cool. While more expensive with slightly less capacity than a more standard far trader, the handling of the Volatant is noticeably smoother, with several quality of life improvements evident on board. Not for nothing, it's standard equipped with a double turret and holographic control, so it responds much more. It's a high performance, cargo thing, and more impressive armor than what your vehicle is equipped with at the standard. Likely an old, space dog like Captain Osmond is likely to have made other improvements, to say nothing of if he's acting on the behalf of the Zodani. So that is one bit. As for the crew, what you can expect, the crew of a typical Volatant Far Trader is 5. Captain, pilot, astrogator, engineer, and steward, but they have enough for 10 other people. No, sorry, they have 10 staterooms, so there could be 5 others on board on the standard configuration. Any other questions, Alonso? Or do you guys have any questions for Alonso to investigate about what he's learned of the Banam?
I don't think we want to get into any ship combat with them. That's what I think.
Agreed.
one thing to consider is the sort of like, starport locks that you would sort of to make sure that, a vessel pays before they leave kind of thing. Captain Ganny, you would know how to subvert those things if needs be, because sometimes you just got to leave, disagreements and whatnot. You got to leave before things are really all I's are dotted, all T's are crossed. You can expect that Captain Osmond likely has that in his repertoire as well.
Okay. Yep.
That's not to say it couldn't be blasted out of the sky by the armaments that the floating palace likely has, but it does mean that they could potentially, try and scarper, as your folk say. So, yeah. What, anything else that you guys want to ask? Because again, 13 is a pretty fucking good roll.
Mm.
What else could we know about it that could help us?
Here's an example.
If they've made
What?
contact with anyone local? If anyone has come and gone from the vessel? See if they maybe have other allies here?
With that, you could cross-reference to see how many people have departed and gone through customs, I think. There are 7 total. So it'd be the 5 mandatory crew plus 2 more, though what they do, you don't know.
Mm.
Another sort of, I think, trick you may have had in your bag of tricks for a reporter is cross-referencing the names against a military database or against the service record. If you choose to do that, yes, no,
Could.
Yeah.
you would find that all of the crew members all served within the Imperial Navy and all served with this guy. So folks seem to have been cashiered out en masse and one way or another either served with or without. And the two younger ones do not have service records, or at least not as lengthy. They did not serve with the captain, but they share a surname with one of the other members.
Oh.
So perhaps children, nephews, nieces, something like that.
Right. That's sort of odd.
If it is traders, it's a whole ship of traders. Because they all served
Family
in the
business. Yeah.
Imperial Navy in one capacity or another.
Right.
I mean, is there the possibility that they don't know? They could just be like us, right? These might just be to them random passengers, potentially.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It is not the only vessel that travels between here and Spinrad Marches, for sure.
Yeah.
And look what we continually get.
In that case, would it make sense for if Ghani, captain to captain, you reach out to Captain Osmond and see if we can get a vibe, or that might tip our hand, of course, I realize, but maybe we've been, doing him injustice by assuming they're in cahoots with the Zildani.
Well, I agree. I think it's something, if push comes to shove, but as you say, if we do it too early, about to tip things off.
Yeah.
If they are in cahoots, then that'll be
See what the
more.
pilot says then, and then we can plan a bit more.
If we start getting into trouble, I will call on their better natures as a first option. But I think, reaching out and... What are you doing hanging out with those Zildani special agents?
Yeah. It won't go well for your business.
No.
Well, that's an interesting point, though. What does he do? If you confront him with that, what does he do? Like, assuming that the two things
cooperates with the authorities.
Yeah, like I generally don't. I don't have an answer for this. I'm not asking to lead towards anything. I'm thinking it through. Like, what does he do?
Well, I mean, reputationally, he has to do something, surely.
Because I was curious. I mean, you're not in any official standing or anything like that. At least they're not aware of your burgeoning relationship with the court of Drinax.
And my little black book of secrets to pass on to Imperial intelligence.
And I guess that is another thing that the doctor may bring up, giving his extensive. Wait, David? Are we sharing that with everyone yet, or never mind? Ignore me, guys.
For Act 3.
Yeah. Is there more value in knowing that this person might be an asset than there is in exposing him?
Indeed, because now we've got information on the ship, the crew, we can pass that on to the Navy/Scout Service. Mm-hmm. But it's a thought that if we get into trouble with them, we can see how they react. But until then, I suggest we stay stum.
Yeah.
Okay. Then, any other questions with respect to the Banam? Then, you will be called back before the court. It seems that the Drinaxi family wishes to speak once again.
All right.
Then, assuming you take your time to get gussied up once again, this time they are asking only you. They give a list of who is invited. Chase is not invited.
Okay.
Interesting.
He asks what to make of that. Should I be worried?
Close to people they know.
I assume this is where we get told what they can offer us and what they expect in return from us.
Yeah, no canapes. Exactly. Canapes with a new Fang Dragon.
Hey, I'll take that. Let's replace Fang Dragons with canapes.
Well, what's this inside the canapes? It's a Fang Dragon! Oh, God.
It's a baby Fang Dragon!
So what then, if you just tell him that it's, it probably, no, he'll accept that. He's not paranoid about it, or at least he's not demonstrating that. And this is assuming you're telling him while he's conducting surveillance of the Banam. So, because you guys, I think Anchor made sure you guys all exchange comm beads so you can talk to one another. And then when you tell him, he says it's fine. Like, he doesn't seem fussed one way or the other about it. He just wanted to understand what that meant. Nothing good nor bad.
Don't know. Don't think particularly. She knows that. Had more experience of us.
All right. Nothing so far. No eyes on them. But I'll let you know. Let me know how it goes. Turns the comm bead off. Then you guys are brought back before the same Chamberlain. You are brought to a similar but different one. Laris, once again, having been your first time here and given your interest in this, you are struck by this staggering amount of cultural wealth on display here.
Yeah.
Because it's just like everything is like, you know, there's something sitting on a you know, a counter that is sitting just to the side of where you go in, and it itself could, you know, buy your ship.
I'll try not to touch anything and sort of just, you know, do the childlike thing. Just pick it up and say, wow, look at it. No, there's
Alonzo pulls back a chair that you know has been imported from somewhere. You're like, okay. Oh.
Oh. Look at the beading around the cushion. Oh, it's amazing.
It is another about 20 minutes, a half hour wait, as seems to be a royal custom when you are brought back into the throne room. I don't know why I had such a hard time finding that word. The throne room.
Wow.
What's the room that has the throne in it? Oh, never mind. I found my way there. You were brought back in. There is nobody in here, it seems. At least not at the first appearance. And then, seemingly appearing from the darkness itself, is once again Princess Rao.
Uh-huh.
She is wearing a dress that almost seems as if you can imagine an elegant, like midnight blue tulip closed, but then that would open up to reveal like a golden hue inside. It seems it also has some kind of unnecessarily elaborate stealth technology in it as well, because it has well and truly concealed her until kind of the thing opens up to reveal herself, and it offers some, not like lights that would, there's a soft luminescence to the interior of it, enough to be able to accent the contours, or that may likewise maybe a unnecessary bit of technology implanted in this, but once again her dress stuns. And she steps forward. Rise and approach. She is looking over each of you to see whether you are disappointed to not be meeting with her father. Does anyone have that expression on their face?
Well, obviously we'll tell you no.
Let me reference, is anyone trying to not have that expression on their face?
Okay.
Dr. Ilias has been around pharaohs and such, so yes, he will try to keep his face neutral and not convey any particular emotion.
Okay. I hear from this court's sources that you have been busy. It seems you have landed on a plan, then.
The outlines of one, yes.
A non-lethal one. Again. And one which does not bring the royal family into any disrepute.
Discretion, were my father to assist in any small way, even to simply refrain from actions that would prevent your saving of this girl, discretion is appreciated. My father has a question of you. What brings you through Drinax and his kingdom now? We have seen that you, as before, have delivered cargo, though not as lucrative as last time. Where is it that you were going?
We have been hired to find someone here. We're fortunate enough that our journey is taking us through here.
I did not realize that you are making a habit of finding individuals. Who is it you work
Seems
for?
to have become a bit of a go-to for us. It's true.
Indeed. You have evidenced more variety in capabilities than one would have expected from simple traders. Who is it who has commissioned you? And you would know, she would obviously know that that's whatever confidentiality you think there may be with your buyers or whatnot. She seems to not give a shit.
Yeah. Now this is interesting. How do we respond? I mean, I know what Laris wants to say, but he's not sure whether the crew would agree with what he has to say. So he's sort of looking. So at this moment, at that sort of pause, that moment for a second, he's looking across at his crew members, thinking, "Are they going to say, or am I going to say?" There's a pause.
If you want to say something, Laris, go for it.
Well, if there's a long enough pause,
yeah,
Laris would just go, "Oh, fuck it." Sort of says, Princess Rao, you will appreciate that if we were to be in the employ of anyone, and he looks at her meaningfully, and we were to be questioned on the specifics of the parameters upon which we're operating, we would, of course, need to stay within the confidentiality of the client who had currently hired us. Again, looking at her as meaningfully as I can, and therefore, we would not be forthcoming with such information, at least not readily. It's important that if you're working for somebody that they have your trust and can see that their trust is enacted.
You are new before this court, Mr. Zathu. So, and I know not your experience with royal personages, such as myself. But as the princess of the Dragon Empire, the Sindal in Exile Empire, I trust you would understand the difference between a client and a friend. And the word friend maybe hasn't had as much of a sinister undertone to it.
Yeah.
At least in recent hearing for you.
Yeah. Laris being Laris is going to plow on. So were we fortunate to ever be in your employ? I trust the sorts of ways we would handle information, such as you request, would be continuing in the same vein.
And so you would think to be a simple merchant or tradesman to the Dragon Empire, and not a friend. An unexpected. Who hired you?
A concerned father.
A concerned father has sent you looking for their son.
A family matter, yes.
you know that the Aslan are no friends of this court. They burned Drinax. Whispers have come. Is it true that your Marine, who you served with, who I met previously, has now sworn himself to one of the Aslan renegades?
Yes, that is correct.
And this father you serve now, are you further in service to the Aslan?
Well, this is merely a temporary contract.
Twice seems precariously close to a habit, Captain Gani. Are you friends with the Aslan?
We have significant, as you can see, business contracts with individual Aslan, as do many traders that are
Mr.
this close to
Zathu,
the-
there may be some who find your prevaricating charming or willing to tolerate things. This is a royal court. My time is more valuable. Are you friends with the Aslan?
We are friends with some Aslan and currently the employee of one.
Yeah,
Indeed.
but my history is with the Imperium, who are no friends of the Aslan themselves.
The
They
Darians
would
are.
share their
I'd say.
your skepticism as well, although they have not suffered perhaps as much.
Is it true that you transported your former Marine to fight a duel in honor of one of these Aslan renegades?
That was Dane's choice, yes.
And since then, we've parted ways. His ambitions are definitely different to ours.
Indeed. Your ambitions seem to be to serve yet another Aslan. Fortunately, being friendly with the Aslan is a necessary asset in these times. As you see, my father hosts some in his court. The Aslan trust you enough to act for them rather than have them. Tell me, is this yet another errant renegade that you are assisting?
I'll say, honestly, not to my knowledge.
Willful ignorance is. Hey.
I think Laris Laris is looking to his colleagues, thinking, well, that's at least, from my perspective, decided that we're not going to have anything to do with these assholes anymore. And he's probably not going to say anything. He's probably not going to say anything, because if he says anything, he might be just prevaricating and annoying us. So he's going to just keep quiet.
So
that's what's going through his mind.
Sure. So she says, not to your knowledge. And she's smirking. You need not worry. Your answers are anticipated. And I'm glad to see that I was not mistaken in my understanding. Not for nothing, she's using the singular I intentionally here, not the royal we. You would pick this up, Dr. Elios, because it sounds off to your ear when someone of her standing is suddenly referring to herself personally. Mr. Zathu, I trust that you will not find my directness offensive.
Not at all. Not in the slightest, I say. And I look at her levelly.
She nods her head towards you, illuminated by that tulip dress. So you have friends among the Aslan, and you have friends among the allies of my father. And you come to us with word of potential enemies to my father. You may characterize yourself as tradesfolk, Mr. Zathu, but your actions betray those who would be friends of this court. And your intention to communicate such. She nods once again to you, Laris, is evident. Subtlety has a place. My father prefers the direct approach. And so I will be plain. You have impressed King Oleb. You had, if I might, God, I'm trying not to just steal a line from fucking Django Unchained. Like, that really is what it would come down to. You had his attention before, and now you have his interest. As gratitude for the work you have done, we are happy to accommodate. The king, subject to you informing him of your approach, will accommodate your request. Detail what you plan, and we will make the necessary steps to appear as if we opposed this vigorously. And speaking officially, on behalf of my father, the king, we condemn this act against a potential ally, the Zodani consulate. But speaking practically, give at them, boys. And that, guys, I think is where we have to end our last session of 2024. So we will come back to the court once again in our next series. So if you do have any further questions or follow-ups with her, you're free to discuss that. Also gives you time to prep what specific plan you guys have in mind here to propose to the king. But yeah, when you are next received by the court of Drinax after you fulfill this task, you will be returning as friends. And then you may have a discussion as friends about what you may do together. But
Woo!
everyone gets 1 XP as usual. Outstanding role playing by everybody too. That is, it's a lot of fun playing a troublesome NPC, and you guys did a great job with her. So,
It's such a delight.
yeah, she, the ones, yeah, it's fun. It's fun having those scenes with them. When King Oleb, when you next meet with him, I expect he will have more to say. Curious that he did not meet with you today. For those listening at home, thank you so much for joining us for our final session of 2024 in our Pirates of Drinax Traveler campaign. As is always the case, if you have any comments, questions, or concerns regarding the session, the campaign, or the game we're playing, please don't hesitate to leave a comment in the comment section down below, and I'll endeavor to reply in a timely fashion. In addition, there is a link in the description of the video to the Dungeon Musings Discord server where all of us are active. We have channels there dedicated to this game, this campaign, and most of the games we run on the channel, as well as a bunch of other things like finding a group or GM discussion or virtual tabletop chat. There is a very large group of helpful, friendly, and knowledgeable people over there, and you are more than welcome to join us. There's also a link down below to our friends at Noble Knight Games. Noble Knight Games is the preeminent unionized retailer of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs in North America. Not only do they have an incredible selection of new role-playing games, board games, and card games, they have an unmatched selection of hard-to-find and out-of-print RPGs, including an extensive catalog of older Traveler products, including the GDW era, for those who may be interested in that. There's also in addition, if you they do not have something in stock in their extensive catalog that you're looking for, you can put it on a want list. They'll send you an email when it comes in, and then you can, if you make a purchase of $10 or more through their website, be sure to enter the code MuserFrost, all caps, all one word. It's listed in the video down below or description. That'll save you 10% in the purchase, and if you're listening to this after January 15th, 2025, come back to one of our more recent videos, and you'll see what the current discount code is there. There's also a link down below to something called Heroes Save Villages, which is a charity fundraising campaign that we run on the channel. It benefits the SOS Children's Villages International Charity, an incredible organization active in over 130 countries, benefiting over 80,000 orphaned and abandoned children. You can learn all about that through that link, and you can also make a donation through there. All donations through that link go directly to them. None of it goes to the channel or any other middleman. It just goes to help out the kids who benefit from their services. As a small way of saying thanks, we have been running a series of mashup charity sessions since the start of the year, and our last one that the donors have been voting on will be next weekend, and that'll be a mashup of Kenneth Height's excellent Dracula Dossier mega adventure with Twilight 2000, published by Free League. So I'm looking forward to that one. Post-apocalypse with vampires, what could possibly go wrong? The last thing I will say is not only for today's session, but for another year spent in the Borderland sector. James, David, Jeffrey, Graham, and Carl, who wasn't able to join us today, thank you so much for today's session, guys, and for another year in the Borderland sector, or Trojan Reach. Thank you, guys. This was a great session. I'm looking forward to another year in the Imperium, or outside the Imperium, I guess, technically. For those listening at home, thank you as well for joining us live or at another date. We appreciate all the kind words we've received on this campaign thus far. We hope that, and I would say too, it is so great to hear how many folks have, in connection with us running this, have been kicking off their own campaigns themselves. We love hearing about that. There's no greater, payback for running these stream games on the channel than hearing that it's encouraged folks to get the game to the table themselves. That's just fucking great stuff to hear. So I hope you're having a ton of fun with your own crews of travelers in your own Traveler universe. But until we see you again, for those listening at home, thank you once again for joining us. As always, stay safe, stay healthy, happy gaming, and happy holidays.